So we have gone through the functions and we know what they are. But when we go through the sum ifs and the count ifs are conditional functions. So why do we call them conditional? Because you must have to meet a certain criteria before it does the function that you want. For example, if you want to sum two numbers, it must adhere to a certain criteria before it merges or it does the sum. So conditional functions let you sum, and you know the function for sum is sum, average is average, count is count or get the mean, and the max of the range. As we said, a range is a group of cells with the same data, with some data. Now, max of a range based on the given condition, or criteria is specified. So we must have a condition and a criteria that we must specify for it to gain what we call, to reach a condition so that we can do the function. Now, let's start with the sum if. Now, sum ifs let you sum in one range based on a specific criteria you look for in another range, like how many apples you have. On this table that we are having this table with fruits here and the amount of the fruits here. Then on this table again we have the fruits, the type of the fruit, and then the amount that we need to sum here. So we are looking at the cell D17. So D here, and then 17 is here. So that is cell D17 where we are doing the sum if. So we are entering this formula, sum if C3 to C14. So where is the C3? C3 is here to C14. So all the fruits from apples to lemons. Now, comma C17. C17, where is C17? C17, that is the fruit now that we chose. Then D3 and D14. So D3 to D14 here. So this is the structure that we are going to. Let's try to enter that formula. Now we are having sum if now here, C3. Let me C3 to C17. Then comma C17, yes. Then another comma. Then we have D3 to D14. Okay. Now you see the sum. So this is the formula that we have entered. We are trying to sum if from C3. Sorry, I repeated something here. Let me just redo it. Okay. So we are trying to sum if C3 to C14 has apples. Now the criteria is C17. Now if we meet the criteria, we will have now the sum. Now we are looking at this from C3 to C17, every cell that is having apples. So we have this here, apples, apples here, apples here. So we'll sum the three, 50, 50, 50. It will give us 150. Now this is the structure of the function. We have the function itself, that is sum if. Then we have the range. Where do we need to take the sum from? This range, from cell C13 to C17. And what are we looking for? We are looking for the apples. And our criteria is in C17. Now we are looking at the apples. Now, for each match found, what the range do you want to sum? So we can we sum them, the range from D3 to D14. It's supposed to be D14 here, not D4. Okay. So that is the structure of a sum if function. Now let's try again. We are trying to look at the bananas here. We want to sum the bananas in this cell. So we'll come and put the condition sum if, where, which range are we looking for? We are looking in this range. So what are we looking for? We are looking for bananas. Bananas is in our C18. Then what do? We sum if we find bananas here. Then we close the bracket. Then we add. Let's see, we are getting here 60, 60, 60 is supposed to be 120. Okay, there is something that we have not gotten right. Sum if this, C18. Okay, C18. Yeah, it's supposed to give us 120. Let me check from this side. Bananas 100 or 180, sorry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to give us 180. I just misspelled something there. So this is the condition we are looking for. That is the condition we are looking. So this C between here is the condition that we must meet. And then what do we have to do? We sum from these cells. I hope we are there. Then sum ifs is the same as sum if, but it lets you use multiple criteria. So sum ifs is when you are using more than one criteria. So from this we have this criteria. We have another criteria here, and we have another criteria here. So sum ifs is when we are using more than one criteria or one condition, more than one condition. But for sum if, it is one condition. Now, let us just try here again. We want to say that we are having here lemons, and we want to do sum if here. So it will be equals to sum if. Where do we want to check the lemons from? From these cells. And what do we have to do? Criteria. Now the criteria is lemons is in which cell? The lemons is in C20. Then what do we have to sum range here? Let's see if it will give us the correct data. Oh, again, it's giving us 0. So here we are having sum if C20. Oh, sorry, I've misspelled lemons. Lemons, it's starting with the capital L. I think so. So C20. Yes. Okay. Let me see what it can give us here. 120. Okay. Bananas 180. So let me put this here. C17. Let me just put the range, sorry. I think I'm having a problem here. Yeah, it's now giving us again 180. Now that is sum if. Sum ifs is more than one criteria. As you can see, we are having what range do you want to sum these ranges. Then this is the first range to look in the matches. Then this is the criteria. This is the second range to look for in matches. This is the criteria for the second match. So it takes more than one criteria. That is sum ifs. Now let's look at count if. Countif and countifs let you count values in a range based on a criteria you specify. They're a bit different from the other ifs and if functions in that they only have a criteria range and criteria. They don't evaluate one range. They look in another to summarize. Now, here we are told to select cell D64. So this D, and then we come here D64, that is the cell, and type count if C50, it is already here, to C61 and then C64. So what range do you want to look at? We are looking between we are looking between these cells, C50 to C61 here, right? So, and which range are we looking for? The values here, C64. So you will count how many do we have. You will see we have 1, 2, and 3 apples. Now let's try to do another one here. Let's try to do bananas again. Bananas. So we want to count how many bananas do we have. So it will be equals to count if, then bracket. Which cell range are we trying to count here? And what are we looking for? This is C66. Let's see if it will do what you want. So it's giving us 0 again. C64. So when you look here, it will be bananas. It will give you 3. When you count, you have 1, 2, and 3. We are counting the number of how many times it is appearing. So that is counting. It has only one range and a country, but it is not adding. It is not doing any other function. So that is count if. Now let me just put another. Let me just add another sheet here. Insert a sheet here. Okay. So you can give me the range. You can give me what I should write here. Anyone who wants to give us data? Oh, sorry. I will go back, don't worry, Sarah. So let me say we have Nairobi, Kenya, we have Kigali, Kampala, then Burundi. Burundi is a country. Then let me say Dodoma, then Nairobi again. Then let me say Addis, and then Lagos, and then let me say Abuja, and then again Nairobi, then Kigali, then Abuja. So Nairobi 50 data. I'm just generating this data for me to be able to count some things here. So 40 here. So we can use this data. For example, we want to sum if here. Now let's say we want Nairobi to be in this cell. Nairobi. Then we want to put our sum if here. It will be equals to sum if, then the range. This is the range, right? Then we put a comma. Then what we want, the criteria is Nairobi. Then we put the comma. Then which range are we trying to sum if? This is the range. Then we close the bracket and see. It is giving us 150. Sorry, it might be too small, but let me just expand it a little bit more. So we are looking at, in this data, we are looking for Nairobi. The range is Nairobi. So Nairobi is in this cell. Okay, let me just repeat. Now we are is equals to sum if. Now, what is the range we want to sum if? The range we are looking for in this range. Which criteria are we looking for? We put a comma, then we are looking for this word, Nairobi. Now, after this, which data do we range? Which one? This one, So we will add this one. Then we close the bracket and we enter. You will see that Nairobi will be 50. 50, 50. When you add them, now the sum if becomes 150. Now let's look at the count if now. Count if. Now still we are going to use Nairobi as a word here. Now count if will come to is equals to count if in bracket which range. The range is here from A1 to A12. Then what is the criteria? This one, Nairobi. We cross the bracket and then we'll see Nairobi has appeared how many times? 3 times consecutively. Are you together? It has appeared 3 times consecutively. So that is count if.